The static is the last thing you hear, a hiss that swallows the final words of fleet command. Admiral Eva Rostova's face, etched with a sorrow too deep for tears, flickers and vanishes. The screen goes black. The war is over. Humanity is lost. Your small diplomatic shuttle is all that remains. A single silver teardrop falling through an endless, hostile dark. You are the final transmission. The last message sent with a human heart still beating inside. Your mission is not to fight. It is not to negotiate. You are here to beg, to accept the terms of absolute surrender for 7 billion souls who do not even know they are already defeated. The weight of it settles in your bones, heavier than gravity, colder than the void outside your viewport. The silence in your cockpit is a monument. It is a tomb for every ship, every pilot, every dream of a future among the stars. The home you left is now a prize to be claimed. Your family, your friends, your entire civilization, all now just assets on a conqueror's balance sheet. And you are the accountant sent to sign it all away. You close your eyes for a moment. You try to remember the sun on your face, the taste of real coffee, the sound of laughter. These are the things you must save, not with guns, but with a plea. You open your eyes. You steady your hands on the controls. The enemy flagship awaits. You are humanity's final hope. A rather depressing thought, all things considered. Your shuttle cuts through the black, a silent, lonely traveler on a road paved with wreckage. The ghosts of the human fleet surround you. Twisted metal and frozen hulls hang in the void. They are silent markers of a dream that died. Each one was a home, a fortress, a promise. Now they are just space junk. A warning to all who would dare challenge the compact. Ahead, the Conqueror's vessel grows. It is not merely large, it is an alteration of space itself. A weaponized moon named Verdict. Its surface is a maze of dark, geometric patterns. It seems to drink the light of distant stars. No windows, no visible engines. It simply exists. A statement of power so absolute it needs no explanation. A floating monument to a bad day. Your ship's computer chirps, a pathetic sound in the face of such might. It broadcasts your identity, the envoy of Terra, the beggar. The shuttle is caught in a tractor beam. A river of pale energy pulls you closer. You relinquish control. You are no longer a pilot. You are cargo being delivered for processing. The pressure on your soul intensifies with every meter. 7 billion lives are in your throat. They are a lump you cannot swallow. You have rehearsed your words. You have practiced the proper posture of the defeated. But no amount of practice can prepare you for this. The moment you face the being who holds your species in its hand. The airlock hisses open onto a nightmare of scale. The corridor is vast enough to fly a freighter through. The walls are a polished black stone that reflects nothing. The air itself feels ancient and heavy. 2 guards, tall, insectoid beings in silver armor, flank you. They do not speak. They simply move, their long limbs carrying them in a disconcerting, fluid motion. You feel like a child walking between giants. They lead you to the heart of the ship, a chamber so immense it has its own horizon. Thousands of beings from 100 different worlds stand silent on floating platforms. They are the members of the victorious compact. Their alien faces are a gallery of predators. All eyes are on you, the last human, the final curiosity. At the chamber's center sits the throne. It is carved from a single, light-absorbing crystal. And on it rests the arbiter. It is a being of shifting light and shadow, a form that refuses to resolve into anything your mind can grasp. Its voice enters your thoughts without passing through your ears, a sound like grinding galaxies. You have come, the voice states, to accept the end. The arbiter does not offer you a seat. You stand before its throne like a petitioner, a specimen under a microscope. Its presence is a physical force. It pushes the air from your lungs and chills your blood. This is power, not the fleeting power of armies or governments. This is the power of ages, the power that decides which species get to see another sun rise. We are the compact. The voice in your head booms. We bring order to the chaos of ambition. Your species is ambitious. It is chaotic. It required correction. Correction. That's what they called the systematic destruction of your fleets, the glassing of your outer colonies, a slight adjustment, a cosmic rounding error. You are here to receive the terms. The arbiter continues, its form swirling like smoke. They are not negotiable. They are a mercy. It extends a tendril of pure light. A data slate materializes in the air before you. It drifts slowly into your waiting hands. The slate is cool to the touch. It feels impossibly heavy. It contains the future of your entire world. You activate the slate. The terms scroll across the screen in your own language. It is a masterful cruelty. They want you to understand every single word, every nuance of your own extinction. The document is not about ships or planets. It is not about resources or tribute. It is far, far worse than that. The compact demands your history. Every book, every file, every record of human achievement erased. They demand your art. Every painting, every symphony, every sculpture destroyed. They demand your language, your memories. They will perform a cultural cleansing, a procedure to remove the very concept of humanity from your minds. You would be left as a blank slate, a docile, obedient species with no past, a workforce with no soul. They will not kill you. They will do something more profound. They will make it so you never existed at all. It is a surrender of the soul, a neat and tidy genocide with no blood. You look up from the slate, your heart a cold, dead stone in your chest. The thousands of alien eyes watch you. They expect you to weep. They expect you to fall to your knees. They expect you to break. The document is hundreds of pages long, a testament to their thoroughness, a masterpiece of legal destruction. You scroll through the dense text, legal clauses, subsections, historical precedents from other conquered worlds. It is all there. Your finger moves faster and faster. Your mind races, seeking a crack, a flaw, a single thread to pull. Anything. You are not a lawyer. You are a diplomat. But in your training at the academy, you studied the enemy. You studied the compact's legal framework. It was a required course. Most cadets slept through it. They called it death by paperwork. You did not. You listened. You learned their history. Their laws were their religion, ancient, complex, and utterly rigid. And there, on page 347, you see it. A single line of text, a reference to an archaic protocol, the precept of foundational integrity. It is an old law, a dusty, forgotten thing from the compact's own founding. It was designed to handle a philosophical paradox, a situation they clearly never expected to face again. It is a razor-thin chance, a ghost of a loophole, so small, so insignificant, that their modern legal machine must have overlooked it completely. The arbiter's voice cuts through your thoughts. You have read the terms. You understand your future. It is a future of peace, a future without the burden of your chaotic past. It leans forward, its form coalescing slightly. Acknowledge and accept. The entire assembly seems to hold its breath. This is the moment of finality, the closing of a chapter in galactic history. You look down at the slate. Then you look up at the swirling, godlike being on the throne. Your heart is pounding, not with fear, but with a strange, wild fire. The fire of the desperate, the courage of the cornered. You have one shot, one chance to turn their own weapon, their own unbending law, against them. You clear your throat. Your voice is small in the immense chamber, but it is steady. It does not tremble. You do not say you accept. You do not say you refuse. You speak a single, carefully chosen word from their own ancient legal lexicon. A word that has not been spoken in this court for 10,000 years. Contestation, you say. Silence. A profound, absolute silence that swallows your word whole. The thousands of alien onlookers are frozen. Their expressions, if they have them, are a mixture of shock and disbelief. Even the arbiter pauses. Its swirling form stills for a fraction of a second. The word hangs in the air, an impossible, audacious little word, a pebble thrown at a mountain. The assembly erupts. A cacophony of 100 alien languages rises in a wave of noise. Murmurs turn to shouts. They are not directed at you. They are directed at each other, at the arbiter. The guards beside you shift, their silver armor clinking. They seem unsure of their orders. For the first time, you see confusion in the face of this monolithic empire. The arbiter's voice crashes down, silencing the chaos. The human speaks nonsense, a dead word from a dead time. The plea is invalid. But there is a flicker of something in its tone, a hint of uncertainty. You know their law. You know this procedure. The word itself forces a response. They cannot simply ignore it. It is woven into the very fabric of their compact. It's like telling a supercomputer that 2 + 2 = 5. It has to stop and figure out why you'd say that. You stand your ground. You hold the data slate like a shield. According to your own founding laws, you project, your voice gaining strength. The precept of foundational integrity allows any species facing cultural dissolution to demand a contestation. It requires the court to prove the surrender terms do not violate the compact's own core principles. You took a gamble. You bet your life, and the life of your species, that they valued their ancient laws more than a quick victory. The arbiter is silent for a long moment. The being of light and shadow seems to be conferring with unseen advisors. Or perhaps it is searching its own vast memory, searching for the law you just quoted. The law they thought was buried under millennia of conquest. You have not won. You have not saved anyone yet. But you have done something magnificent. You have pressed pause on the execution of your entire species. You have bought time. Precious, priceless hours. The arbiter's voice returns. It is colder than before, stripped of its divine arrogance. The claim is archaic, but it is not invalid. A ripple of shock passes through the assembled delegates. The proceedings are suspended. The human envoy will be given quarters. The court will verify this historical claim. It almost chokes on the words. It is being forced to follow a rule it despises. The 2 insectoid guards gently take your arms. Their touch is no longer menacing. It is almost respectful. They lead you from the throne room. The eyes of the compact follow you. You are no longer just a defeated messenger. You are an anomaly, a puzzle, a problem that their all-powerful system does not know how to solve. And in their eyes, you see a flicker of something new. Something you have not seen since this war began. Fear. You are shown to a suite of rooms. They are as sterile and grand as the rest of the ship. The luxury is an insult, a gilded cage. But you do not care about the silken sheets or the strange glowing fruit in a bowl. You have a plan. The next step is already forming in your mind. The contestation protocol gives you certain rights. Unprecedented rights for a prisoner. You access the room's terminal. You send a formal request to the court. It is a simple, direct message. To properly prepare your contestation, you require access. Access to the full, unredacted legal archives of the Compact. Everything from their founding charter to their most recent galactic decrees. It is an audacious request. It is like a mouse asking for the blueprints to the mousetrap. You wait. The hours stretch into an eternity. You are alone with the silence and the weight of your gamble. If you are wrong, you have only delayed the inevitable. You have given your people a few more hours of false hope before the end. A cruel, final joke. Then, a chime from the terminal. The reply has arrived. Your request has been granted. A wave of relief so powerful it almost brings you to your knees, washes over you. They see you as a novelty, a scholar trying to write a final, pointless footnote. They are blind to your true purpose. They have just handed you the key to their own prison. The entrance to the archives is not a door. It is a shimmering curtain of light. You step through it and into a space that defies logic. You are standing in a library of stars. Countless points of light drift in a slow, majestic dance around you. Each point of light is a law, a precedent, a historical record, a memory of the Compact. It is beautiful and terrifying, a universe of pure information. Your terminal access projects a search interface into the air before you. You have the citation number, the precept of foundational integrity. You whisper the words, and the archive responds. One of the stars brightens. It drifts towards you, expanding as it comes. It opens like a flower, revealing layers of data within. Timelines, debates, drafts of the original law. You dive in. You spend what feels like days sifting through the dense, archaic language. The founders of the Compact were not like the Arbiter. They were philosophers, poets. They had seen a galaxy burn in endless wars. The Compact was their solution, a way to enforce peace. But they were afraid of their own power. They feared becoming the tyrants they had replaced. It was a well-founded fear, it seems. And then you find it. The ghost in the machine. The core debate around the precept. It was authored by a species long vanished. A species called the Lor Ve. The law was their great gift to the Compact. It was a promise. An unbreakable vow that the Compact would never use its power to erase a culture. It would conquer, yes. It would rule. But it would not commit the ultimate sin. It would not destroy a people's soul. The very thing the Arbiter just tried to do to you. The law you found was not a loophole. It was a fail-safe. A moral foundation stone that had been deliberately buried and forgotten by millennia of ruthless expansion. The Compact of today was a betrayal of its own past. You now hold the proof. You have the words of their own founders, a weapon forged from their own forgotten honor. You download the relevant files. Your case is ready. The ghost of the founders will be your final witness. A summons appears in the air. The court has reconvened. The Arbiter has finished its research and is ready to dismiss your claim. You feel a calm settle over you as you walk back to the throne room. You are no longer the beggar. You are the accuser. You hold their hypocrisy in your hands. You are ready to put their entire empire on trial. You enter the throne room again. The atmosphere is different. It is tense. The delegates whisper amongst themselves. They have been studying the same archaic law. They are beginning to understand the implications. The arbiter's swirling form seems darker, more agitated. It looks at you with an ancient hatred. The human has had its delay. The arbiter's voice booms, trying to regain control. We have reviewed the precept. It is a relic, a product of a sentimental age. It demands proof that our terms are, quote, spiritually antithetical to the compact's creation. A vague and meaningless standard. The arbiter is preparing to dismiss your claim on a technicality. It thinks you have nothing. The standard is not meaningless, you reply, your voice ringing with a newfound authority. It is the very heart of the compact. You project the files from your slate into the center of the room. The glowing words of the founders appear in the air for all to see. The words of the lore, they. Words of philosophy, of hope, of fear. Words that condemn the very terms of surrender offered to you. Your founders created this law to prevent this exact moment, you declare. To stop the compact from becoming a machine that erases history. A machine that consumes souls. You turn to the assembled delegates. The terms offered to humanity are not a mercy. They are a violation of the most sacred law on your books. They are a betrayal of the promise your founders made to the galaxy. A wave of dissent ripples through the assembly. Species that have been part of the compact for thousands of years look at each other. They see the truth in your words. They remember the stories of the founders. You have not just questioned a ruling. You have questioned the very legitimacy of the modern compact. The monolithic empire begins to show its cracks. You have unveiled their hypocrisy. The arbiter's form surges with rage. A wave of pure force slams into you, throwing you back. But you feel no pain. An invisible barrier protects you. You stand in my court and lecture me on honor? The voice thunders, shaking the very foundations of the room. I will annihilate your world. I will erase your star from the sky. You cannot, you say, pushing yourself back to your feet. You are breathless but unafraid. The same law that allows this contestation protects the petitioner from harm. It is the rule of inquest. To harm me now is to admit your guilt. You stare into the swirling vortex of its anger. You are challenging a god, and you are protected by a shield of its own making. The arbiter is trapped. It is a being of immense power, but it is bound by millennia of tradition. To break the rules now would be to shatter its own authority. It would prove you right. You see the conflict within its chaotic form, the struggle between its pride and its ancient code. You have it. You have it cornered. You walk forward, retrieving the data slate with the surrender terms. You hold it up for all to see. These terms are an abomination, you state clearly. They are unworthy of you. They are unworthy of your founders. With a deliberate motion, you press a single button. The screen flashes. The file is deleted. A collective gasp echoes through the hall. You just destroyed the official surrender document in front of the entire compact. Humanity will not be your slaves, you announce. We will not be your blank slates. You look directly at the seething arbiter. We offer new terms. You project a new document into the air. It has only one clause. A treaty of mutual respect between the people of Earth and the compact. We will be your partners, not your pets. It is the most audacious gamble in human history. The arbiter is about to unleash its fury. You can feel the power gathering. The air crackles with energy. You brace yourself for the end. But before the arbiter can act, another voice speaks. It is quiet, but it cuts through the tension like a blade. The petitioner is correct. The voice comes from one of the highest platforms, from a being you had not noticed before. It is an elder, a being made of what looks like ancient, carved stone, with soft light glowing in the cracks. Its name is spoken in whispers by the other delegates. Elder Ones, one of the few beings old enough to have known the founders personally. Its words carry more weight than the Arbiter's armies. The law is clear, Elder Ones continues, its voice like the slow grinding of stones. The compact does not devour souls. That was the promise. That is the law. The Arbiter freezes. Its power recedes. It has been challenged by a force greater than its own. It has been overruled by the living history of the compact. Elder Ones turns its glowing gaze to you. The humans' terms are bold, but they are not unjust. They align with the original spirit of our union. The oldest law has prevailed. You have won. The journey home is different. The void outside is the same. The stars have not changed. But you have. You are not a bearer of chains. You are a diplomat carrying a treaty. The weight on your shoulders is gone, replaced by a feeling so light it could be mistaken for flight. You did not beg for your future. You earned it. You fought the greatest empire in the galaxy with nothing but its own rule book. And you won. Your shuttle breaks into Earth's orbit. The planet glows below you, a brilliant blue and white marble, a jewel of impossible beauty. 7 billion people sleep, work, and dream down there. They have no idea how close they came to oblivion. They do not know the war that was just fought for them in a distant throne room. They will learn. History will tell them. But for now, you just watch. You watch the sun rise over the curve of your home. You watch the dawn you forged with words and courage. You brought humanity back from the brink. You did not just save them from surrender. You gave them a future as equals among the stars. And as you begin your final approach, you allow yourself a small, triumphant smile. You rewrote the terms.